Welcome, friends and enemies, to episode 63 of the Adventures of the Bane Glorious. We are in coronavirus lockdown, so we are doing this over Zoom. So we have everybody here.
Not sponsored.
Not hashtag not sponsored. We have Simon.
Hello.
We have Ed.
Hello.
We have Kathryn.
Hello.
And we have Jess.
Hello. Really tempting to leave it for a really long time and make it sound like there was a massive delay just for me.
Yeah, but I would cut it out.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, Jess, you've changed up the greeting. This is confusing.
Well, Ed said "oh," so
I see.
I said "low." It was a.
But because
Kathryn,
verily, 'tis Jess.
Yeah.
And because Kathryn was between the two of you, it utterly confused me. I get it. So, last time you were battling some moths still. Sorry, because I'm a bad storyteller. And Lor'athel decided that he would try and save some people from the fort. That was going.
You always describe my bitch so disparagingly.
I can't possibly tell you what that might mean.
How do I win your praise?
It's when you get an inspiration point for playing your character, that's when you know that you've won me over. That's when you know that you've won me over.
So
Flint,
none of us have.
No, exactly.
Maybe sometimes Jess.
Yeah.
I mean, always Jess, to be fair.
Yeah.
Flint and Juniper. Simon is holding his mini directly in front of his own face.
What's
perfect.
Are you playing a YouTube video in the background?
No, I was trying to find my character sheet. Sorry, continue.
Have I bored you already, Ed? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
How come that came through the...
No idea.
Weird.
Sorry, I'm trying to find my character sheet. Continue.
Okay. Flint and Juniper had headed under the fort following what they thought was Erallur's grandmother into a maze of chambers. They had gone through the chambers with Helagon and Seraphine, working their way through, had uncovered a strange thing in the floor, a mantle that seems to be glowing ominously, and spoke to it, and it claimed that it was an ancestor of some kind, whether that was of the Zalvirs or of somebody else, not really sure. It seemed that the grandmother's body was a vessel for this thing and that it would unleash itself and destroy everything and everyone in the fort, thus saving the fort, but not the people in it. Flint and Juniper gave up a couple of their magical items, Flint giving up his arcane cannon and Juniper giving up her DOS loot in order to persuade it to delay its inevitable destruction and also to release the spirit of Starfy into Juniper's lantern, I think? A container of some kind.
No, it was into your... What's it?
It was into truffle.
Yeah.
It was into truffle.
That was it.
The remnants of truffle.
Got it. Cool. Okay. So, Starfy, the spirit of, is in the remnants of truffle. Erallur, meanwhile, had managed to convince Nithhogg to give up the cuirass that she was after at the cost of a magical, inverted commas, ring. She had escaped from it, she believed, until the dragon realised that it had been tricked and chased her. It then attacked her and engaged her in battle, at which point she was briefly knocked out. Thor then came to help, and there was a rather protracted battle between Thor and the dragon, with Erallur conscious and unconscious at various points. When it finally got to the point where the power was unleashed and Lor'athel, Flint, Juniper, Helagon and Seraphine were leading the remnants of the denizens of Fort Argent out onto the walkway leading back into Faerun proper. The energy released, but it was more of light and sound as opposed to actual fiery destructive energy, and it drew the bodies of the moths towards it, seemingly destroying them all. In the pillar of light, as it slowly faded into a thin stream, the body of Erallur appeared, softly flew down onto the rubble of Fort Argent and rested there. No, it was soft. It was soft. If it had been a thump, I would have failed 2 death saving throws for you because you would have taken damage. And it would have counted as a critical hit. So it wasn't that. That is where you are. The conscious ones among you have just got out of the gates or are on the long walkway. I believe, Juniper, you were the one to spot that Erallur's body had hovered down.
Yeah, I think I had the best perception check because I have ridiculous perception skills.
Bards of Lore.
Yes.
So
I've got skills. I can't
yes,
fight. But
yeah.
I've
So
got skills,
well,
so
you
it's
can
fine.
fight. You've done the most damage of
Well,
anyone.
That's true. Well, I can't do martial attacks. Spell
No.
attacks, 10 out of 10. Martial attacks.
So that's where you are. The fires are still burning across the city. What would you like to do?
So, in terms of anyone still left in the city, is there?
Make a perception.
I like it. I like it.
Is this the have you killed them all, Michael?
Well, we start as we mean to go on. That's an 8.
It's very difficult to see. It is quite dark, particularly now that the pillar of light has dissipated. There is fire, but that also means that there is quite a lot of smoke. It's engulfed the majority of the scaffolding that was lining pretty much the entirety of the city and the fort. The fort is just rubble anyway now. You can't see anybody, you can't hear anybody. The crackle of the flames is the main noise that you can hear, and it seems to be spreading on the wind quite effectively in terms of most buildings are now on fire or smoking, about to catch fire.
And obviously, other than Juniper, we didn't see Erallur, but
No.
the bright shining light, was that directly above the fort, above Fort Argent itself?
Yeah, well, it was coming through Fort Argent from the plate underground.
Yeah.
From your stone cunning and your knowledge of direction, you'd know that it was a direct line up from that.
Okay.
Did I tell everybody about Erallur?
I
can't
don't
remember
think you
when
did.
it ended. I'm
I
trying
think
to
it
remember my
ended pretty
head.
much then.
Did it end? Because obviously it's been approximately 50 years since,
Yeah,
we last.
yeah.
Since the beginning of March.
Yes.
March is the longest month of anybody's life.
Ah. Well, we thought that about January. Then February felt pretty fucking long.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, God, it's
March-
only 29 days.
Yeah, and then March was 5 decades, as you said, Jess. So
It was just the worst.
yeah, but no, in answer to your question, you did not tell anybody because I believe I cut the episode off, as Simon
That's
said.
yeah, I can't quite remember. That's fine. And I did recognise it to be Erallur.
Yes,
not
you did.
The body. Yes.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. How far are we away?
You
think
now would be about 200 meters away.
Okay, so not ridiculous
No.
amounts. Okay. I think Juniper will look at everybody and go, I think that was Erallur.
What was Erallur?
The light.
What, you saw her?
I think it was like a body shape shadow, and it looked a lot like Erallur.
Right. Okay, well, lead the way.
And I do. It's amazing.
A few of the city folk that ran when they felt the ground shaking followed you,
Yep.
and including one of the ones that followed you, Simon, and you managed to save, look at you, Lor'athel, in a way that says, why are they going back? As you set off.
There may well be survivors. We need to make sure before we abandon this place.
But everything's
stay
on
here.
fire.
I know, which is why we want to make sure that nobody's left in there.
Okay, well, Juniper and I can go check out the light if you want to make sure that everyone, they've seen you around, they've seen you helping people. They might be more amenable to be led by yourself.
We'll try and get a sense of numbers, see what resources we have before we go further.
Okay. Meet back at, I don't know, the main gate?
Everybody's gathering here. We'll try and set up a camp or get moving, whichever seems most appropriate.
Right, okay. Well, we'll see you back here then.
Okay, so Juniper and Flint, you set off. Are you being wary, or are you being stealthy, or are you just going?
I think without direction from Flint, Juniper would just go. So I don't know.
Yeah. To be honest, after everything, I think just getting there as quickly as possible is probably on the forefront of our mind.
Okay, that makes sense. So you charge across the ice. It's a little bit slippy at this point as the heat from the fires is starting to melt just the very top layer. So could you make dexterity saving throws for me, please?
Cool. I'm back on the phone dice.
Okay.
Dexterity
Okay, so that-
saving throw, is that? 14.
14 and 15, was that, Jess?
Oh, wait, no, 21.
21, blimey, okay. That's a little bit different. So you manage to actually coast through, and there's a couple of moments, Flint, where you feel yourself almost aquaplaning in your boots, but you manage to style it out. You're fine. You don't even trip. You eventually get to the pile of rubble. It is sizable, and at the very top, you can see a prone body lying there.
I'm assuming it looks like Erallur.
From your angle, Flint, at your height, you can't tell.
Oh, okay.
Do I think it looks like Erallur?
You're, I believe, shorter than Flint.
Yes, I am.
I think you
But does it
know
smell
that
like her?
I think you would know that probably is Erallur, as you saw only one body fall. But
Yes, good.
yeah,
Can
So,
I do a sniff check?
of course you can make a perception check.
I'm like one of those dogs trying to find people after earthquakes.
A disaster response dog, yeah.
Yes, that's the one. I'm living my best.
Or like
Disaster
that
response life.
bloodhound in Lady and the Tramp that just makes the shape of an arrow every time he is like.
Good. I got a 16.
A 16. Yeah, there is a distinct familiar scent around
Okay.
the place, but there's also fire. There's a slightly ozony smell as well,
Yeah,
but there is a smell of Erallur.
cool. Can I pad over to the body without burning to death?
You'd have to climb over the rubble, so you'd have to make an athletics check to see how well you do that.
Yeah, sure, whatever. I've got. Athletics is one of my worst ones, but let's try it.
Am I on the rubble of the whole fort?
Yes,
So the entire fort has come down.
yes.
Okay.
Well, the keep did, as in
Yeah.
the main building of where your family lived.
Yeah, yeah,
The rest of the city is on fire.
got it.
Look, I have one spell left, and I gave away my loot that has levitation powers, so I'm just scrambling over this rubble.
Yeah. What did you roll?
Oh, let me just do now athletics. Okay, that's a 14. That's pretty good. I've only got
Okay,
plus
yeah,
2 in
that
athletics.
is pretty good.
yeah.
So you managed to actually scamper. You are using your forepaws a little
Yeah,
bit
I
to
could see I
scamper
was-
over,
yeah.
but you do actually manage to scamper up there quite quickly. Flint, Juniper is just away across the rubble.
Okay, I'll just clamber my way over as well, make sure
Okay.
she's doing okay.
Can you make an athletics check for me then, please?
I can. Ooh, that is 22.
22. You actually catch up to her fairly quickly. Your knowledge of stone allows you to look at fairly stable bits of the rubble and pick handholds out quite easily and manage to move across. So, yes, you get to Erallur about the same time and you realise, Flint, that this is the prone body of Erallur.
Okay. Does she seem like she's anywhere near conscious?
Roll a medicine check.
That's a 10.
Okay. You're not that familiar with human physiology. It's not your area of expertise. You can't really tell because she's also wearing a new on her chest. You can't really tell whether she's breathing or not.
Okay.
Kathryn, can you roll a perception check for me?
What kind?
This would be a general perception check. It's not a spot or listen.
18.
That's fine. Flint, were you about to do something?
Yeah, because I can't see whether she's with us or not, I'm going to look down at her and just fall down to my knees, going to rub my hands together. And Juniper, you see as there's this slight electric spark coming from the fingertips, and I just go, okay, and I cast False Life on Erallur. So she gets 7 points of temporary hit points
Okay.
Do I?
for 1 hour.
Yes. Does that actually give me? So that adds on to my maximum hit points, but does it give me those hit points as active?
That
current
is
hit
a
points?
very good question. Let me check on the spell.
You did a necromancy.
I did a necromancy.
Do I recognise this necromancy? I'm so proud. Am I crying?
I know this because I used to have that.
Yeah. I can still do magic. I've got another
Yeah.
loot. It's just not as magical.
It's not very clear, to be honest. It says, bolstering yourself with a necromantic facsimile of life, you gain 1d4 plus 4 temporary hit points for the duration.
So I'd say that probably gives the hit points.
Yeah, well, it would if you were adding them. It wouldn't just give you the capacity to have them and then have them healed. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
say that you have those 7 hit points restored as well as added, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So, as yeah,
Flip unsure what to do with his hands, but just steps back and lets her breathe.
Erallur awakes, and as you look around, a little bit of life restored to you. Your throat feels a little bit charred, and your chest is quite laboured. You can feel your breath catching a little bit in your throat, as if there's something wrong with you being awake.
Mhm.
And then you look around, you see Flint and Juniper kneeling nearby, Flint's hands up and away, just crackling a little bit with static. and then you take in the fact that you are on a large pile of stone rubble, and that the city in which you grew up is ablaze and in ruins.
I'm just going to cough for a while.
Oh no, very, very timely. Yeah.
I've heard screams of people.
Roll a perception check.
20.
There aren't any screams that you can hear. The crackling of the fire is a little distance off, and so are most of the other buildings, but doesn't seem like anybody's screaming.
Okay. And do I remember everything like from Thorland?
You do, yes.
Okay.
Thorland, the new title of Isgard.
Yeah. Okay. I look down to see if I'm still wearing the thing,
You are.
and then I'm going to try and stand up.
Okay, yeah, you do so. It hurts, but you're up.
Are you guys right there, or how far away are you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just taking in the
Yeah.
fact that we've had a rough day. It's
Yeah.
been
It's been really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Flint, you notice that just on Erallur's neck, a couple of the veins are just slightly black as a result of the spell that you cast on her.
okay.
What have you done?
Yeah.
I let her stand for a minute, and then I thought you lost you for a moment.
I mean, I was lost
Where were you, Erallur?
in Thorland.
Do I know what that means?
Roll a religion check.
I don't know if I would call it Thorland. I didn't know he was Thor, though,
Probably not. That's a 10.
in the land of Thor.
You are familiar with the name Thor,
Hmm.
but you don't know what Thorland might be.
Right. Cool. Okay. I just nod as though I understand.
I wouldn't know that I fell down, would I?
No.
So I ask Flint, was I asleep? Did I get knocked out? Did I just wake up here? What?
I mean, you brought your stuff, and there was bright light, and you disappeared for a bit, more than a few hours.
A few hours?
Well, we've been out here trying to. Whatever you did, it didn't kill off the wilderness. So we've been trying to put an end to that here, and I think we've managed, but I don't know if our efforts brought you back, or if you came back through some other power, or
So it wasn't a dream, but I was gone for more than a few hours.
aye, you are
No, I'm telling you, I was gone for more than a few hours.
right.
I think it's been like a couple of days.
Yeah,
So
to you it
had
has
long
been a
rests
couple of
and
days.
stuff. Yeah, it's been a few days, surely, at least.
No, just I mean maybe 4-5 hours.
Okay, well, get me up to speed. What's happened?
Well, we'll walk and talk. Lor'athel's currently getting all the survivors together. So we will relay to her everything that's gone on.
Okay.
The fact that we've left her family home is in rubble.
Yeah.
Awkward times.
Okay, so do you go back to where Lor'athel was, to the gates and out slightly? And
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Lor'athel, during the time of them being gone, have you been speaking to people and taking inventory and numbers and things?
That's it. Well, delegating. All of that menial stuff is not for me.
Lor'athel, middle manager. So,
So finding what remains of the Fort Argent military.
yeah, so in terms of numbers, there are around 15 members of the military. They are a mix of divisions, and some of them are wearing armor, some of them are not. It looks like some of them got out whilst they were off duty or were caught asleep and then managed to get out. So those ones in particular, 2 of them, are not in practical clothing at all and are shivering quite vehemently. There's also the couple of people that you managed to save, and then there's a few families, one of which has a very young baby in swaddling, and they're all huddled together. All in all, there's about 25 people, and none of them have anything in terms of supplies or tents or anything really that would facilitate a long journey in the cold.
Okay, so first things first, I go over to the soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody hurt? Or are we all okay?
I think some of us got a little bit dinged up, but nothing to write home about. Scratches mainly, electricity burns.
Do we have anybody here that knows medicine?
No.
Okay, well, you just have to make do for now. Some of you look like you're freezing,
Yeah.
and those civilians as well. I think, looking at what we have, we need to prioritize just keeping warm, and then we can take proper stock of where we stand. Do we have any blankets or furs or anything?
There might be a few in the barracks. There's the end that's not burning anyway.
I think we need to move quickly and make sure that we have everybody accounted for. So split up into 2 teams. I want one lot of you to go wherever you can in the rubble that's not on fire. You should be safe now, I hope. Just salvage anything you can, anything that will keep us warm. The rest of you, take account of everybody that's here. Make sure they're okay. If anybody needs medicine, then for God's sake, try and find it for them. We just need to gather ourselves.
They nod and move off to do so. Flint, Erallur, Juniper, you see a few soldiers coming back through the gates and heading towards the barracks, and one of them heads towards the fort just to inspect the rubble. A few minutes later, as you are reaching the gate and the fire starts to overtake the barracks a little bit more, the ones that went in there come out holding as many blankets as they can carry, which is quite a few, and they've managed to pack them down quite well. The one that went to investigate the fort looks and seems to try and lift a rock and just can't manage it, and then leaves, kind of shrugs and starts to head back towards you and sprints back towards the gate.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry, they saw something underneath the rock.
Possibly.
Sorry, so where are the soldiers now?
They were investigating the barracks, and then did you go with them, Lor'athel, or did you?
No.
Okay, yeah. So they're on their way back as Erallur, Flint, and Juniper reach the gate.
Okay. Erallur, you're alive.
Just about.
What happened?
Long story short, went to a different plane, came back in.
Okay, well, I'm just glad you're all right. We saved the town as much as we could, and Lor'athel awkwardly looks back towards the
Fire
rubble.
and how many survivors?
To your eye, around 25.
25 or so, 24, thereabouts. No supplies. I've sent off the soldiers that we have to fetch blankets just to keep everybody warm, but it's not going to keep us going for long.
Did you tell me about the grandmother thing?
Yeah, I mean, I assume because she was possessed and went into the light, right? Am I misremembering that? Sorry, it's been such a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like her body survived. She, as a human being, didn't make it out, did she?
No.
Okay.
Did you see her die?
We saw her activate the fail-safe below the fort.
Right, so she could, well, I mean, it sounds like she died a long time ago, but the thing that was inside her could still be here?
It seemed to want the fort back. It seemed to believe that it was owed to it.
Has it succeeded?
I mean, it's hard to tell.
This is what it wanted. It wanted to destroy the fort.
It wanted to reclaim it, whatever that means, but...
You didn't make a deal with it, did you?
Well, we did. Not terribly. The deal we made was for Staffy, which, and I gesture to Juniper, which we have here.
Get out, Truffle.
Well, did it say anything about the wilderness? Did it know about it?
It was aware of the wilderness, but seemed to think that whatever it was going to do would be quite final. So I imagine this is very much a full stop on that.
On the wilderness, but not necessarily
Well,
whatever destroyed it.
It was made from the ancestors of your family, Erallur, so...
So it was a protection thing.
Well, one would hope that it would never mean any ill will towards its blood. It seemed to think you were some kind of bastardized strain of the bloodline, but we managed to...
Sounds like ill will.
Hey.
where is it now? I mean, I assume that explosion was its doing, but is it still down there?
Perhaps it's been set free. Not entirely sure.
Just not in character, but in my notes from last session, I've got that she said she was sacrificing herself as a last resort.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was so that the fort would belong to her and her ancestors again? Am I misremembering that? Because
it's open to interpretation.
Right, okay.
I'm not really sure what she meant. It seemed as if it was a bit confused, but also very much like, if I can't have it, no one will. But also I'll claim it, but also I'll sacrifice myself in order to do so.
Right. See, I thought the sacrifice was just the grandmother. But yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Juniper, as you're holding out the ball, you hear Starfy's voice going, "Ooh, is that Erallur? Is she back?"
Yeah. Yes, Erallur's back. She went to the land of Thor.
Ooh, that sounds exciting.
It is. I forget how Truffle was destroyed. Is he very destroyed?
Yeah, 3/4 of his shell is whole. There's a gouge mark through one of them, and there's just a little light that you can see swirling around as Juniper's holding it. You can't hear Starfy though. So as Juniper's talking and replying, you realise that Starfy's probably talking to her.
Did Truffle die when I was gone or before?
Before he was torn apart by moths.
If Juniper's still holding it out,
yeah,
I'll put my hand on the top and I'll try casting Mending.
Okay. As you place your hand on the metal, you hear, "Hi, Erallur!" And then the magic blinks into the shell, and you can both feel it as the metal knits back together. The wings splay out and the beak comes back. But the shell of Truffle doesn't move. You can still see the light blinking around it, and it seems to shimmer through the metal. But Truffle doesn't come back to full life.
So does it now seem like the light that was in the staff?
Starfy, there was the crystal at the top.
Yeah.
That had a light in it. That's very similar light to what's now in Truffle.
Well, I don't know if I made it clear last session, but in terms of going into the remains, because I think the scrying stone is still in there.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm going to suggest that Starfy basically be in there, because that's like
the
protected shell.
The scrying stone is in Truffle's head, because Truffle needs to be able to see. You know, you can't cover the scrying stone, otherwise it would just see the inside of a metal ball.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like the scrying stone, you'd set it up to look like 2 amber eyes of Truffle, and that's how Truffle could see. So Starfy's in the body, the scrying stone is in the head, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So, yeah, as Erallur takes her hand away, Flint, you can see Truffle whole, but mechanism's not working.
Okay, cool.
And you can see the light emanating from the body of Truffle now as well.
And it was a different, because I had 2 staffs, didn't I?
Yes.
There was that one, and then the original staff is the one which had the directional thing. So that wasn't Starfy, was it?
No.
The pointing the way one.
No.
Okay. Have you ever spoken to Starfy?
No, I can't hear.
So I ask permission from Juniper to take Truffle. Vision.
I think I give it.
You know,
I don't think I'm too precious.
Okay, and then I just twizzle round. Twizzle? I don't know. And place him in your hands.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can I hear
you? Yeah, you can hear now, Flint.
Oh, hi.
I'm Starfy.
Right, you're the one that my friends have been talking about.
Yeah, who are you?
My name's Flint.
Can you tell him that I'm sorry for breaking him and going and leaving? And yeah, that's fine. You can tell him that. Thank you.
Erallur says that you'll talk later, okay?
Okay.
Okay, but I'm just going to put you in my satchel for now. We just got to figure out what we're doing with all of these people, all right?
Oh, okay. I don't think I'll be able to see in there, though.
All right.
I just scoop him back out of your hands and go, okay, wrong person, and then give him back to Juniper.
Hi, bye, Erallur.
I've got no idea what's going on here, but I just want to cut things short and go to the more pressing matter of the 24 people that we need to stop freezing to death.
Yeah,
No.
Okay, that's fine.
No. So important.
So,
Did anyone else survive? Important,
Not that you can see.
family members?
No, just all of these non-important expendable people.
Not that you can see.
All of
Okay.
these numbers by which we'll judge the success of our
No.
journey home.
As I last saw Lord Braunwyn in the...
You
When
saw
we were
him
doing the big
just
fight.
before you snapped your
We got
staff.
him out of...
Yes, and
He was in the side room, wasn't
yeah, he was unconscious. Then when you disappeared, the others saw him briefly, and then he fainted.
he? Yeah. Also, there's still like 2 party members missing. Ooh.
No, Helagon and Seraphine,
Oh, they're here.
they're there.
Yeah, they're here.
Oh, they're
and
with
Ser-
us right
yeah,
now.
yeah. And you can see that Seraphine is actually going around the people, and she seems to be handing out berries.
Okay.
And the people seem to look at her slightly weirdly, and then eat the berry, and then nod at each other as if it's a really tasty, hearty
Ooh,
meal.
are they good berries?
They are good berries.
I meant the spell, not just to comment on like.
I realised what you meant, Simon, but yes, they are.
Woodberry.
They are both good berries and good berries.
Good berries.
Does anyone have any kind of healing?
I've got a potion of healing.
I'm going to go and see if I can find my father.
Does anybody
But
go?
I don't have many hit points, so...
Take this, and I'll give you my potion of healing.
Okay.
Okay. Do you drink it
Thank you.
straight away?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2d4 plus 2 then.
Do I roll that?
Yes.
Okay.
Has that other soldier got back yet?
Yes.
2d4 plus what?
2.
Okay. 6.
Yeah. So as Erallur chugs the potion and starts to walk off, the soldier that was trying to move the rock comes back.
I'll
Soldier,
head
what
there
did you find?
first. Sorry.
I saw an arm under the rubble, but couldn't.
An arm, a human arm.
Yeah.
Well, come on, show me.
Oh, okay. And starts to walk
That
back.
way as well, anyway.
Okay, so
Let me
you
go back
run
up.
back. Can you make investigation checks for me, please?
No. Rebel against the DM. You can't stop
Yeah.
if he's not here.
I
Okay,
mean, I
Yeah,
go
let's
roll.
unionize.
couldn't
7.
really stop you before. 7.
We can say anything. 9.
You can see a hand peeking out from under a boulder, but you can't see who it might belong to.
We're both there, are we?
Yeah.
I put my hands underneath the boulder and say to Lor'athel, help me with this.
Okay. Can you make strength checks then, please?
Can I assist him so he gets advantage?
You may, absolutely, yeah.
Thank you, because I need to definitely re-roll that.
Also, Jess, loving the acting there.
Thank you.
Jess is just putting her hand on
On
screen.
the hand.
Where's the
22.
boulder, Jess?
Oh, God.
Where's the method acting, Jessica?
Use a pillow.
I'm using the pillow and I've got another pillow here. Although, it's got a crown on it.
Yeah, that's
The
better.
monarchy.
Oh, I miss you, idiot. So that was a 22, was it, Lor'athel?
22.
Okay,
That's
so
better.
with Erallur's help, you managed to heft it just and then shift it and drop it a little way away from the arm, which then reveals itself to be slightly armoured and in quite a rich purple fabric over the wrist. But the bones in it are obviously crushed.
Oh, the
Can we? So we can't see the
Is
rest
there
of the person.
Anything else?
No, you can
damn.
see the rest of the arm.
Is
Oh,
the
so
arm
it's not
attached
attached.
to a person?
No.
Does it look like an arm I recognise?
Yeah, it is your father's arm.
What's the protocol here? Do we take the arm? Or
Has he got?
Cast healing on the arm, and hopefully a body will grow out.
Has he got special rings on? You know,
No,
like
not on this
special
hand.
family rings. Okay.
you want to loot the body, even when it's just an
No.
arm?
Can I start picking up rocks and stuff, looking underneath them for the rest?
Yeah, roll another investigation check.
5.
Yeah, you're picking around, you don't find anything.
Okay.
I put my hand on Erallur's shoulder. So, from what I saw in the throne room, I don't think it's good news.
But he was safe in another room. We took him into the other room so he'd be safe.
When I went back into the fort, there wasn't anybody at all.
So you all just left.
Sorry, what?
I thought that was a really dramatic.
Yeah, so did I. I thought it was like, and the wind whistling and just Lor'athel not knowing what to say.
Also, there's no eye contact, so I don't know. Like,
yeah, it's really hard.
the moment's gone. I just said, so you just left.
Well, there wasn't a lot we could do in the moment.
You didn't take him with you?
I can't remember. He was safe. It was the safest place at the time, and then the situation changed. You'd gone, and the city wasn't safe anymore. I came back to the fort, and the monument had been finished. There was a lot going on. There were a lot of people that we couldn't save.
I need to find the body, and then I start picking up more stones.
Okay, roll another investigation check then.
Lor'athel
There is
takes a moment
no
just
sign.
watching it, and then can I join in? Lor'athel decides to help her.
Yeah, sure. Make an investigation.
Can I
check
give
for
you advantage, or
I mean, I
no?
have a
This
plus
would be
zeros.
separate. And
okay?
Erallur, increasingly as you search, your fingernails start to get bloody, and your fingers start to crack as you desperately search through the stones.
18.
You search the rubble. You find a few pieces of dented armor. You find a few bits of broken moth shell and moth wing. You don't find a body.
So the arm, I know we said it doesn't have any special stuff on it, but did it have jewellery or whatnot?
You're thinking of looting the body now.
No, I'm thinking of, something...
How would you be able to
like memorial.
tell that, do you think?
What is on the hand?
Roll an investigation check on the arm.
Surely he's just either wearing jewellery or he isn't, though. Is that
I
what
mean,
you're
I
asking?
said he wasn't wearing jewellery, but I think...
Oh, he's not wearing jewellery.
No, he's not wearing any jewellery.
Oh, then never mind.
Okay.
You know, with the message spell, do you have to know where someone is, or can you just target a person?
I believe it's just within range. You can try and send it through.
Okay.
Let me just check. You point your finger toward a creature within range and whisper a
That's what
message.
I
You'd
thought.
have
I think
to
it's
see them.
sending that you can just know the
Yeah.
person.
If
Okay.
she pointed at the arm, would it
Probably
count
not.
as the whole?
Good thought, but no.
Okay.
I'm going to sit on a rock.
Okay.
I stop scrambling about in a rubble.
Where's Juniper?
And she's back with Flint outside the gate.
Is she within message range?
No, she wouldn't be actually. No, she'd be too far. Sorry.
So I can't wave at her or anything.
You could wave. She might not be able to see you.
I don't feel in the mood for waving, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to sit here for a bit.
Okay. Erallur sits down on a rock. The wind whistles across. You can still hear the crackling of the fire. Flint and Juniper, they've been gone for a little while now.
Okay, I'm going to just look around at the various individuals that are still there, just make sure everyone's okay. I've still got some water, so I'll be handing that around as well.
Well, they actually refuse the water because Seraphine has told them that the good berries are enough sustenance for an entire day, so they don't need water and they don't want to waste it. And the other soldiers that gathered some blankets, some of which are slightly scorched, it looks like they did go into danger in order to get them, wrapping them around the various people, and they look a little bit warmer.
Okay. In that case, in terms of, because we're going to need to start thinking about where we're going after this, you said there are around 24 people?
Yeah, roughly.
Okay.
I mean, you can obviously count them, so yeah, you know.
Yeah. Okay. I'll think on something. I'll wait for the others to get back.
Okay.
Are we
So-
talking back to us again?
Yeah.
I have my head in my hands and I'm just going, not necessarily to you, Lor'athel, but just out loud. I failed. I wasn't here. I thought if I broke the staff, it would fix everything. But all that happened was I just left and I wasn't here. And I'm just saying that over and over again.
Lor'athel stands and watches her like this for a short time, and then goes over to the arm, kneels down beside it, and gets out the carved bone torn pendant, and clasp it in both hands, close my eyes, say, Torm, guide and protect the spirit of this fallen warrior. Make sure he is taken to the halls of his ancestors. Make sure that he is guided to eternal paradise.
Can you make a religion
Long may
check?
he rest. Oh, Lor'athel's just making that shit up.
I know.
Ooh. Oh dear, 5.
You've not really prayed to Torm before. You've obviously started to go to him since Thelios' passing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really sure if you're doing it right. You don't get any feeling that you are, nor that you're doing it wrong. It's just cold, and you're very tired.
For good look as well, I finish that, don't really expect anything to happen. Put away the pendant, and then for good measure, the sign of Corellon over the arm as well, just for double redemption.
Human and elven redemption.
Mm-hmm. Are you kneeling down next to this at the moment?
Kneeling down next to the arm, and then I look over at you.
I'll peer over your shoulder.
Oh, are you behind me?
I am now.
Look over at you.
And I'll kneel next to you. He was a terrible father, but he was my father. And then I don't place the whole boulder that we lifted back over the top, because that would be impossible. But is there one that I can just, almost like a burial thing?
You want to make a cairn?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. There are a few smaller boulders that you can build into.
Is there, do I have anything in my inventory that I put down as a thing? I don't really have anything interesting.
You've got your signet ring, but you might not want to give that up because it gives you
that's really useful.
Noble privileges.
We have stats to think about.
I don't think I have any treasure at all.
No, I'm definitely not.
I guess I look
with
in my
the
bag.
literal sword and shield symbols of this entire nation.
I think I look in my bag thinking I have something interesting and useful and emotional. And then I'm just like, nope. I pretend that I didn't look for anything. Because all I have is hammers and torches and rope.
Yeah. So there's now a small cairn over the arm.
Okay. You didn't fail him, you know. I think today, of all days, he would have been very proud for you to be his daughter.
I look back at the destroyed settlement place of everything and look at Lor'athel skeptically, but then it turns to appreciation and I just tap him on the shoulder and then I walk back towards the others. Okay.
The soldier looks at you, Lor'athel, and nods and then starts to trail after her.
Oh shit, the soldier's there.
Yeah,
there was a guy there the whole time.
Yeah,
standing there like...
Yeah, really awkward. Yeah.
He didn't even help us lift the stone.
What?
No.
Erallur. And then hopefully she turns around.
Oh, sorry, I thought you caught up. Okay, yeah.
Calling after you. The city is its people. Don't forget that. As long as they're still here, then you still have a home to protect.
Smile a little bit and then carry on walking.
It takes around half an hour to 45 minutes for Erallur and Lor'athel to turn back up. And by this time you are starting to get very cold, Flint and Juniper, and you can see Seraphine and... Helagon's fine. Seraphine is put out and is standing further down the bridge with her arms crossed and shivering, looking like it's very much we need to leave.
Okay. I'll go up to her and we'll wait for Erallur to come back. I have a few thoughts.
Yeah, of course, but can she hurry up?
I know, but we'll see what she has to say. But I have a few thoughts, but we can discuss it when we're all back together.
Okay. And you can see that her hands are just stuffed under her armpits and she's shivering. Looks like druid clothes, hers at least, not great for the cold.
I gesture to my exposed arms and go, yeah, me too. Ugh.
Yeah, and then Erallur, Lor'athel and the single soldier turn back up.
In our full winter get-up.
Oh, shut up.
Right, so, did you find him?
In parts.
I just put a reconciliatory hand.
I
reach up. I just pat your shoulder and just... So, what are we doing with these civilians?
I think killing them is quite extreme, Flint, but, if you want to, we can.
Do I know where's the nearest other settlement to here?
It would probably be in the Dales to the east.
Okay. So how far away is that?
50 odd miles.
How long does that take?
That would be at a push 2 to 3 days travel.
2 days.
Yeah.
With families and children across snowy landscape.
Yeah.
Would it be a journey that is perilous, or is there actually a route there? Is that well worn?
There's not a route there, no. It would be the route which you came up into the high ice, which was pretty cold. It is also towards the middle of winter.
Yeah.
So,
are there surviving wagons and things like that?
there are some that would be near the dock, because you used some of them to unload the boats that come in, but there's not a vast array of them because you don't really bring wagons.
Boats?
There are that could get you down to the river, but there's not very many of them because there's not a lot of trade that comes your way.
But there's only 20 odd people.
Yeah.
By boat or by land?
Well, we don't need to get one of the boats from here. We have the boat, don't we?
We do have the boat.
It's slightly broken, remember?
Have I tried mending it yet?
No, because you weren't around when Flint and Juniper rode it down the stairs.
So I don't know that it's
Dramatic
broken.
time. No.
It was very
Okay.
dramatic.
Flint, can we use your boat?
We can. The only other thing I was thinking, do you still have that plane shift ability?
I mean, I lost it with the staff, but I actually have a similar thing again now. And then I knock the cuirass.
As the knuckle knock on the metal, there is an odd...
Sorry, Simon.
Damn you, Simon! There is an odd... It's not really
There's no place
tinny...
like
I was thinking it too.
Yeah, it's not really a tinny ring or a dull thunk, but an actual almost choral note from both knocks.
So I have this, but I don't know how it works yet, so I might need some time.
I can do that for you now, if you'd like.
I mean, I need to attune to it. I know what it does.
Oh, you know what it does,
Yeah,
right?
but I
okay.
need to attune to it. I was trying to say it without saying the technical term.
Aye, well,
But also, that's not going to work for 25 people.
well, I'm thinking even if we... Cause how does it work?
I don't know how.
No,
it
but
works.
the spell.
As in the actual, just how does plane shift work?
Yeah.
Let me find how. Up to 8 willing creatures stand in a circle, hold hands. And then we did it before where you can basically specify where you're going, but you might not end up there.
Right.
And there's a small chance you'll end up somewhere completely different, or you might just end up close by.
I'm just wondering, it would probably take around 3, maybe even 4 trips, but might it be worth?
I can only do it once a day, I
Right.
think.
Yeah.
So it would take
Oh, wow.
longer than it would take to just walk.
Okay. Well,
Could you use it to go ahead to the next settlement with the most needy and then meet us halfway with supplies and transport?
aye,
That's a good idea.
that could work.
Is the nearest settlement one which would have enough supplies and transport?
It's likely, yeah. The Dales
Okay.
are pretty well frequented.
Okay.
It's just that they're a little bit remote in terms of from the city-states, but they rule themselves and are able to get food and supplies. So,
Yeah. I look round at the people, the survivors. Is there anyone of rank, anyone who looks official?
roll a history check.
17.
Yeah, you can see that on one of the military men's epaulets, there's the insignia of a captain.
Okay. I mean, is that the highest?
No,
Is
it's
that
not.
quite
It's not the
high?
highest. It's mid-rank.
Okay. Also, we have obviously people who we met out. Their job is to scout out, isn't it? And not be within the walls of this
Yes.
place. So
Yeah.
is there any sign of them? Are they still out there?
Not where you are. No, they'd
Right.
be further north.
So they won't necessarily know any of this happened.
Well, they'd probably be able to see the fire,
Yeah.
but would most likely not come towards it.
Okay. Is this captain the only soldier? Oh no, there's the other soldier guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to point at a handful of soldiery people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, you, whatever, you go over here, and I'm basically sending them out to bring anyone in who's a straggler, basically. Make sure
Okay.
that we've got everyone.
Will do, milady. And they rush off to look. It takes them round in a slightly odd route, but they do go that way.
Yeah. We don't want to leave anyone behind.
Okay, so are you waiting whilst they go and do that?
Yeah, I think we probably form a more specific plan in the meantime. So I need to find someone who can lead the group who knows the area and knows the route, because obviously when we came here, it's one of those terrains where you need to know exactly where you're going, otherwise you get lost, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think I'd probably find a couple of people who can do that if I'm not going to be with them.
Yeah, all three of the soldiers that you pointed to openly volunteer that they would be able to do that.
Okay.
So in terms of the closest settlement, it's rather than the Dales, it would be Hartsvale that's closest.
Hartsvale.
Yeah, and Castle Hartwick.
Okay. Am I familiar with?
You've heard the name Castle Hartwick before, because that's where your brother's fiance came from.
Oh yeah. Is there no sign of her?
No.
Okay.
But Flint told you the story about her involvement in the distraction.
What did she do?
When they were setting the fire,
Yeah.
she went out, caused a smoke explosion, drew the moths away.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So do I know that this is a place that they're not our enemies or anything?
No,
You know?
no.
Okay. Yeah, it's good. So I'll brief them on the plan. We'll set a point to meet, and then I'll find, is it 8 plus me or is it 7?
I think it's 7 plus you, I believe.
You went up to 8 willing
Oh, okay.
creatures.
So it would be 9
So
altogether then.
Fine. So I'll basically go around and figure out who's the weakest.
Okay.
Arm wrestles.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking maybe it'd be good to take 1 or 2 of our group, but it depends how many vulnerable people there are.
Okay. There's one woman who is just awake and has a heavily bandaged arm. There's a woman who stands near her but doesn't look nearly as vulnerable, but stands very protectively. The
Okay.
most vulnerable would be the family of 5 with the young baby.
Okay, so there's 5, and then there's an injured person,
Yes.
and then there's maybe the person with them.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'll take all of them and then 1 of our group.
Okay. Which of
That
the group?
adds up, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, choices.
are any of our group particularly injured or...
Flint,
I think
One hit
Juniper,
point.
I think
Lor'athel.
we're all dead.
I'll use healing hands on you.
Oh, thank you.
And it'll be like, oh, thanks for the potion kind of healing hands.
Okay.
So I've used that today.
Thanks for the potion.
Okay, so is that 5 hit points, Kathryn?
It's my level, so it's 11.
Oh, it's your 11. Ooh.
Ooh.
Wow.
12
All
hit
11.
points. I
Wow.
have 12 hit points.
Let me just
Wow.
mark that I've done that.
Wow.
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 How does Juniper get on in cold? She struggled last time, didn't she?
Yeah, not amazingly, but that was constitution check rather than naturally, so you're not really sure.
Yeah. But we could get her blankets and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have fur, but it's not,
Are there
No,
enough
polar
wagons
bear.
by the docks to take these people and like some provisions and stuff?
It's certainly possible.
Okay. So I guess while we're waiting for the soldiers to come back, we go and get provisions and wagons and
Hmm.
horses, if there are any, stuff like that.
The stables would be by the barracks, which is now very much on fire.
Okay. Did anyone let the horses out?
No.
So they're all dead. So
Well, we've got some provisions.
Healing hands.
there's not much point in, undead horses.
No, I'm
Yes.
pretty sure. No,
I was more
it
thinking for protein.
explicitly says person.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very
Damn it.
annoying. Animate Dead is specifically about a humanoid. There is no
Wow.
spell for undead animals, which I think is complete bullshit.
That is
Yep.
really
Could
bad.
you
You're a
animate the
monster.
arm?
I mean,
I thought about that and I was hoping no one would say it.
I guess hypothetically, yes, it would be a bit useless because it would just be an arm. But I don't really see I don't see why I should do that.
It could confuse people.
Yeah, Sure.
Leave him
Well, why
stumped.
don't you suggest it in character, and then we'll all react in character.
We
Lor'athel
could
can-
pretend
Lor'athel
that
would
he's
not.
still alive and just hold his arm up behind a piece of wood. And,
Oh my God,
like,
what if he
pretend he's
resurrect the
waving at
arm?
everyone, and like
What if
one
he
of us
resurrect
Like
the arm?
that scene from Toy Story. you
Yeah.
mean? Oh, I'm here with my friend.
What if you resurrect the arm and then 20 feet away under the rubble you just hear "Woo."
Oh,
You're awful.
It was so bad. It was just like a little fish just flopping about. It just
So
seemed-
like, Miss Nancy.
So the halfway point is a day's ride away, is that right?
Day and a half.
Okay. And then it'd be another day.
Day and a half, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess, yeah, we load up on provisions and warm things. And I still need to choose who to take. Anyone feel strongly? Did you
Let's
want to
ask an out of character question.
Mhm.
The ghost spirit thing under the city said
Yeah.
you've got XYZ amount of time to get out before this happens. Was that the explosion that's already happened, or are we still on that time limit?
No, that was the explosion that's already happened.
Okay, cool. I'm just
Okay,
wondering that we're not pottering about the ruins and then it's like
Yeah.
10, 9.
No, and in
So
terms
how-
of finding provisions, you do actually find some that were left in the wagons.
Okay.
It's not a great deal, but it's about as much as you're going to find.
Yeah. Okay. So Helagon's got a broom, so he's
Mhm.
fine. Seraphine can turn into animals, so she's fine.
Tomorrow.
After a long rest in the card.
I think
Yeah.
we'd probably need a rest before we go anywhere. I mean, I would go, but you guys presumably would. Have
Should
a
we say
rest.
I've gone and collected some firewood?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Sun's
it
still
about.
on fire.
Yeah, we
Yes.
don't even need to light it.
There's a lot of
yeah,
it
so
about.
while they're getting provisions, I'll go and collect an abundance of firewood with some of the soldiers, hopefully, and we'll make some pyres for people to gather around.
Okay. So do you just set those up on the walkway that you're on?
Are we under cover? We're not under
No,
shelter, are we?
no.
Is there, because we've come through one of the gatehouses, haven't we?
Through the gates, yeah.
Is the gatehouse still standing?
There are towers further back that are still standing. Yes, they're not on fire. You've come
Is it
through the
like-
main gate. There's a second set of gates that has towers by it, but that's further into the fort complex.
Yeah, I mean, if we just retreat a little ways to that second wall where we've got some shelter.
Yeah, you could do that. It's up to you.
Yes. That was a loaded, it's up to you.
No, well, I'm waiting on the others and seeing what their response to it is rather than
Yeah.
me just saying, yes, that happens.
Haha.
Yeah, no, good idea.
Okay, so you set a fire
Shelters.
under shelter.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm going to attune to the thing.
Okay, so you spend around an hour attuning to the thing, and you feel before it was quite heavy, and you're not used to wearing armor of any kind, let alone metal armor. But as soon as you attune to it, it feels like you're just wearing an extra layer of cloth, and you can feel the magic is in it, but used for the day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, I've used it already? I thought
Didn't you use it to come out of the
It
fallout?
seems like
I didn't on purpose.
It seems like the magic of the cuirass helped.
Oh, okay. I see. I didn't realise that. I guess I'm staying here for a bit then. Okay, yeah. So I guess we'll take a rest.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. What time is it? What kind of
It's
time of day?
middle of the night.
We should definitely have a rest then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long rest or
Yes.
But we
Yeah.
should first help this person who is most injured. The one the injured person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lor'athel, she's the lady that you stabilized.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have no medicine left at all.
I used mine on you.
I have one level 1 cure wounds left.
That might help.
That should do the trick. She's probably like 8 hit points or something.
Well, it's 1d8 plus 3, so let me get out my phone dice. That's a 4,
Okay, yeah.
7
Her-
points.
You can see her bandage is quite bloody, but as
Mm-hmm.
you cast the spell, and she does look slightly nervous around you, but
What?
as
I'm a
you,
delight.
you are, but you're also a talking dog.
Again, a delight.
But as soon as you cast the magic up, she shivers and colour returns back to her cheeks. She is still slightly blue, but she looks slightly healthier.
Oh, good.
And she just shivers. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so you hole up in here for the night.
Yes, so we
Yep.
need to set up a watch system
The soldiers on watch.
No, they're probably incompetent. Some of them.
She
with
says
one
very
or,
loudly next to one of them.
with one or two of us at the same time.
Yeah. I'll take first watch with a few of them.
Yeah. We can
I
maybe
only
have
need
them
4
patrolling.
hours for a long rest, so I can take second.
So, Flint, can you make a Constitution saving throw for me first of all?
Saving throw.
Yes.
That will be 23.
Lovely. You are very tired. You are very bloodied, but you are very stubborn. And so you resist the sleep that is trying to claim you. The guard, on the other hand, not so lucky. Falls asleep onto his pike a couple of times and hits his head.
Oof.
Just not terribly hard, but just enough to be clearly painful.
Midway through the maybe third time this happens, I'm just going to move the pike out of the way and just let him. Hey, it's fine. Sit down. It's okay.
And he just looks at you quite thankfully, doesn't say anything, and almost immediately falls asleep. Can you make a
Is
perception
he
check?
the
for me?
same incompetent soldier who went and looked at the arm and then walked away again?
That he is.
Ooh.
16 for perception.
So just as you are coming towards the end of your watch, you hear a slightly strange noise. It's like a just on the roof, and then something falls through the window and clatters onto the ground.
It's Kathryn typing.
And it's just shards of metal just tinkle across the floor. Doesn't seem to wake anyone else up.
Is it moth metal?
Seems to be the remnants of a moth.
Okay. Is it still moving? Is it?
There is one leg that is just pulling across the floor towards you.
Okay. So how big are these things again?
About
They're not
forearm length.
forearm length. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this one is severed in various places and is barely holding any of itself together.
Okay. Is there a rock nearby? Like rubble?
There's a soldier's helmet.
Yeah, that'll do. I'll pick that up and I'm just going to... Actually, no, better yet, I'll take the mithril ball out because that's
Yeah.
really sturdy.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to thwack it.
Okay, roll an attack.
Just add strength to that.
Yep.
So that would be 15.
Yep, that hits. So you slam the helmet down and there's a as it hits the floor and a fizz of sparks. And just as the leg twitches a couple of times, you just hear a soft, odd, slightly atonal melody of "Will you run? Will you run?" as the final electricity runs out of it.
Did anyone wake up when he whacked it?
Roll perception checks, everybody.
Perception.
Would it be passive perception considering we are unconscious? So I'm not
No,
actively
'cause you-
perceiving.
yeah, well, but passive is for when you're awake as well. So I would just say roll a general perception check.
18.
Natural 1.
Ooh,
Okay.
21.
Yeah, so Erallur and Juniper, you wake up with the noise of metal hitting stone. It looks like a few of the survivors woke up as well, and Seraphine and Helagon both do.
No worries. You can go back to sleep. Just the remnants.
But if there's one left, then it can repopulate.
Look, having spoken to the entity beneath Fort Argent, I would be willing to bet that if there are any left, they will be dealt with in no uncertain terms. I am unwilling is maybe the wrong word, but I'm not particularly curious to go back into the fort and go through everything with a fine tooth comb until we've found every single last one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Peace of mind probably would be a good idea, but
I don't think we'll ever have peace of mind.
no. And the thing's definitely not moving, is it?
No, it's completely, yeah.
In that case, very tentatively, I'm just going to wrap it up and I'm going to put it in my satchel.
Okay.
What, just the leg or the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very dented half metal moth chassis.
Yep.
Okay. It's around the end of your watch, Flint, now. Everybody else tries to settle back. And Lor'athel said that he would take the next one, but is in meditation.
Okay. I just go over and tap him on the shoulder. Your time, big guy.
All right.
You can,
Get up.
Lor'athel, see that a lot of everybody else is awake.
Did I miss something?
One final straggling moth.
But they were all wiped out by the blast.
I know. I
Get some rest.
no, I'm plan to.
Okay, so Lor'athel, you are already back up to full hit points and spell slots because you had the 4 hours you needed.
Whoop, whoop.
So can you roll a perception check for me, please?
Mm-hmm. 19.
Nothing occurs during the night. The fires slowly die out. There is still a slight orange haze over the rest of the fort, but as the fires die and the smoke drifts through, your fire is the only active flame that you stoke from time to time, and everybody does get back to sleep eventually. You can see that a few people have hunkered together, but even with the terror of the evening, the sheer level of tiredness and exhaustion that has gone through everybody just draws them into sleep. And eventually it comes to the end of your meditation and everybody else stirs awake. You are back up to full hit points, back up to full spell slots. If you used any hit dice, you gain half of them back.
Time to refresh everything. I haven't had spells.
Do I still have my temporary hit points? Or
No,
does that
they- No,
it's only for an hour.
Yeah. So you are awake, cold morning, high up in a tower, and you can now see as the smoke is blown away, the charred remains of the houses of Fort Argent.
So, are we making a move?
You are, yeah.
Okay.
We'll meet you in.
Right now, one more time.
Well,
You know,
just
the place we arranged.
because you would know this area quite well, Erallur, so from your perspective, you need to go back down the way towards Silvery Moon,
Yeah.
but Castle Hartwick is actually a curled round. Silvery Moon's down here. Castle
Okay.
Hartwick is curled round there. So there's a point towards the bottom of the mountains here where
Yeah.
you've designated for people to meet you. But there are roads that way. It's just that they're not very well frequented.
Yeah. Okay.
So with Flint's sense of direction and mountaineering and Seraphine and Helagon's ranging skills, you should be able to find that point on the map.
Okay. So I just check in with the people who are going to be leading the way, make sure that they know where they're going, give them a nice hearty slap on the back.
Yeah, and you see as well as you're coming to the base of the tower, the scouts that you sent out to find the other scouts return with 3 other scouts in tow.
Okay. I check with them and I say, are you certain that this is everyone?
It's all we could find as far as we could go. We spent all night out on the ice. If anyone else is out there, they've either run off themselves or we're not going to find them.
Okay. There's no point leaving a message because anyone that comes here won't survive anyway. And then I head off. Find my 7 people. Oh, wait, who am I taking? I think I'll take Juniper if she wants to come because she's...
I think she'll be happy to come.
Yeah. So, yeah, I get everyone and we all stand and hold hands.
Yep, in a
nice
circle. And the cuirass, the dented bronze of it just shimmers briefly as you start to concentrate on the spell. And there's a brief moment where the feet of the various people start to various people start to shimmer slightly as the magic's coming to the fore.
Does it work if you're not actually going to a different plane though?
I think not. I think you have to go to a different plane first.
Well, then we're not going to be able to get there because then we would have to wait till the next day.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look. What does it say?
It says if you know the sequence of a teleportation circle, on another plane, then you can take it to there. Yeah. I don't think that we can just teleport with it. I think it's got to be plane
it
shift.
wouldn't
It's
work.
got to
Yeah.
be kind of a plane.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I would have known that.
You would have.
and not had this plan.
Retcon!
So I guess we just go with everyone else.
Yeah. Let's do it.
That seems fair. Okay, so you set off. Can you make Constitution saving throws for me, please?
Yep.
17.
24.
Natural
18.
20 plus 8, so 28.
Wow. And what did you get, Jess?
18.
Brilliant. Okay, so you all deal with the cold pretty well this time. It feels like those of you who struggled before got used to it quite quickly. The soldiers are fine. Seraphine and Helagon are also fine. One of the villagers on the second night does die of hypothermia, unfortunately.
Even if we give them lots of warm things and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
They rolled a natural one. There's not really anything that can do against that. The baby, however, because you're all hyper aware of looking after it, and the mother is very caring and considerate of when it's getting too cold and will put it up against, the baby does just survive. It's touch and go, but you do manage to look after it adequately. And eventually you come down the path that you initially came down and find yourselves outside of the high ice, skirting round. You also, on the way past where you fought the Bahias, and you find the body of the one that you left, that Juniper had destroyed utterly, has been picked clean by something. And you can see that some of the bones are slightly burned, and the remaining flesh is bubbled and cracked. As you skirt back round towards Heartvale, it takes you slightly more than 3 days to get there. Just because of the particular people that you have with you, it's quite difficult to get these people to rush. They're not in any mood to do so. And also just travelling with a full family, including a couple of children and a baby, quite difficult. But you do eventually get to where you reckon Castle Hartwick would be, and come over a rise in a fairly snow-covered fir tree valley. Very verdant still, because it's all evergreen trees, but it is still cold. And eventually come round an outcropping to see on what seems to be a large volcanic plug, as in a fairly uniform hill rising out. You can see a castle looking out over the valley that has a number of flying towers. Not literally flying, it's the architectural term. I realise I have to say that in fantasy worlds. But they are jutting out from various angles on this fairly traditional stone castle.
Would I know if they'd have scouts or, watch?
It is most likely that they do.
And if they'd seen us, would they approach us, or?
Yeah, probably.
What's the kind of formality with this sort of thing?
They would probably approach you and ask you what you were doing, where you were going, but nobody's approached you yet. Okay.
Would a member of this sort of household recognise me physically, or would I need to?
They'd perhaps not recognise you physically, but they'd recognise your name, and certainly they would recognise your signet.
Yeah, okay, cool. We'll carry on, and I'll head up the procession.
Okay, can you all make perception checks for me then, please?
12.
7.
What kind of perception check?
Spot and listen.
11.
Okay.
12.
So you're walking along. Erallur's at the front. Where are the rest of you in this little group?
Because I'm slower, but also because I'd like to just make sure the older and the sicker are cared for, I'll go towards the back.
Okay. And Juniper, you somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, I think so. I've got short legs, so it makes sense.
Sure. I'll be off to one side, just off the path.
Okay. Helagon takes to his broom a few times during the day just to scout out around in front of you, and Seraphine stays near Juniper. As you are getting closer and going down a slightly steeper slope, one of the scouts jogs up to you, Erallur, and says, "Milady, I don't mean to worry you, but we've been being followed for some time."
Bye.
I presume a scout of the Hartwicks.
Can you bring them to me?
Well, we could hail them if you want to. Try and bring them out into the open.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
It's probably best if you do it, Mom.
Okay, where are they?
I think in that tree. And as they point, you just see one of the branches just move slightly wrong from the wind and the snow slip down.
Walk very calmly all the way to the tree, to the base of the tree.
Yeah.
And then look up.
Yeah, so you can see a boot just slide off the branch and more snow kicks down and you just step to the side as it falls on the ground.
Does it look like a scout of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're not sure of their specific outfits or anything, but it looks like a fairly hardy boot.
Okay. So they're on the ground?
No, up in the trees.
Oh, right, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Would you like to come down?
That depends. What do you intend here?
Well, we can have that conversation if you come down.
Roll the persuasion check.
13.
Okay. Well, I suppose that makes sense. And then they awkwardly clamber down the tree. And you see wearing a leather jerkin with antlers going across the front of the piece. Leather trousers, leather boots, and very durable sleeved top underneath. You can see they're wearing quite thick gloves and a hat that seems to be made of deerskin. Mm-hmm. And they have a fairly thick beard, but it's a chin strap beard rather than a full beard. And you can't really tell what their hair is like under their hat, but they nod at you and go, "So, what do you intend here?"
What's your name?
Guardsman Trite.
Trite. Sorry, I'm just writing that down. Erallur writes it down in a little notebook. No.
For my investigations.
Yeah. And where were you on the night of the murder? We have come from Fort Argent.
Oh.
We're refugees. The fort has been destroyed, and we're seeking refuge in this place, which is called Hartsvale.
Oh, well, you best come to the castle then. Our Queen Artemisia will want to see you.
Is that the mother of the person who was...
Seems likely,
fiancé?
From what she said.
Okay. Queen what?
Artemisia.
Artemisia. Okay. Yeah, I nod and then say, lead the way.
Okay.
And then head back to the group.
So he waits for you, and then as you get back to the group, starts to walk down the snowy path. You can see that the snow and ice have been cleared a little bit from this way, and starts to lead you towards the castle through this snowy forest. And that is where we shall leave this session. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening. Like and subscribe, follow us on Twitter, all of that good stuff. So yes, everybody who wants to say bye, say bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.